everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Leah Catherine, this is Leah Sees Movies, and we are back with the next episode of Young Justice. So last episode we were all shocked to find out that Martian Manhunter is not dead, and at this point he may be the only green Martian that's not dead after Macomb sets off his big gene bomb, which may or may not also kill him and other mixed species aliens. So he could have just killed not only himself but his entire family, which is, wow, I mean, that would take a therapist a long time to unpack. There's a mysterious group following Gar, McGann, and Connor around. It seems like they're not actively trying to harm them, but there is a mysterious third party who is trying to foil them in some way, but I can't tell if that's also to help our team or if there's just like a whole bunch of different motives kind of colliding all at the same time. But I am interested to see how this genocide plotline is resolved, because I'm assuming once again that we are not going to murder all of the Martians in this episode, and I just hope that they find like a really creative way to resolve it and it's not just like, oh, my conscience came back. Because like, yes, one would hope he would feel some type of way about killing his family, but like if he's gotten this far, then it doesn't seem like his conscience is gonna make like a last minute return. Like I want to see some ingenious detective work by our team. As they said, they've been trained by Batman and Tim and all of them. Like I want to see those skills come to fruition. Or it's gonna be like Angels and Demons, which not Angels and Demons. Oh my God, what is it called? The one with the genetic bomb. There's, if you didn't read the whole Angels and Demons Da Vinci Code books, one of them has a gene bomb. But in that movie, they actually, in the book anyway, in the movie they save the day. In the book, he does not save the day. That gene bomb gets released and apparently like a third of the world becomes infertile. It's actually a really dark ending. Spoiler. The Lost Symbol? Is that one of those books? Anyway. Can't wait to see how this gets resolved. So on that note, I'm going to stop talking. Let's get started.
Defend the tower and Lord Naga Naga!
I had forgotten about Lord Naga Naga. How could I have forgotten?
Outsiders, go!
Why does this feel like it's being shot the same way his TV show was?
Covered, boss. Seems that cosmic staff does everything but watch your bum.
Good save, Windfall. Though I'll take down Cobra myself.
It feels like I'm assuming he's just reliving his glory days, but it's playing out like a TV show.
Outsiders.
Also, I like that Windfall's officially on the team. And she can do tornadoes and stuff.
We talked about this, Gar. Restoring communications is going to take time, and besides, Cassie's got the outsiders covered, right?
Right.
How can they have their covered without me? What will the team do without me?
A brain?
Gar, did you get any sleep last night?
Yeah, enough. I'm fine. Forget it.
No, this boy is not well. This isn't just homesickness or even like, I kind of don't trust them to run without me sickness. Like, I've never been like losing sleep because I'm like, how are they handling work without me?
I came as soon as I heard about the cave-in that injured Superboy.
Thank you. And there's really no need for concern.
No concern, my green butt. Someone nearly murdered you yesterday.
Do you think it's because this someone learned you are investigating my father's death?
Well, duh.
It's possible.
Seriously. There has to be some like manipulated reason for his behavior, because if he's just acting like this just to act like this, especially after allegedly he's built this family and this unit and outsiders are doing so well, it does not make sense.
We searched the riverbank to find the source of the cave-in. We found evidence of twin burn marks. Connor's microvision confirmed a match to the 2 points of impact that caused the Zeta Tube explosion.
That's what I said last week.
I also briefly sensed a psychic presence near the river that I couldn't locate or identify.
So whomever blew up the Zeta Tube, and probably the Mars-Earth communication satellite, is most likely behind the attempt on your lives as well.
I like him doing like baby's first detective work. He's just like, oh, we're putting clues together.
To introduce you to Sorcerer Priestess
Is that his ex that he tried to marry?
We have...
That's totally the girl he tried to marry. No, I don't care about any of this now. I want the gossip. What's going on?
Respectfully, my prince, I must remind Connor of his sacred duty to help build the ceremonial altar for his upcoming wedding to my daughter.
Guys, the priorities here.
McGann, now that Syrah is here, your sister and I need to steal you away to begin our sacred ritual of building the...
Like, they couldn't just say, hey, we're delaying the wedding a little bit. Because, I guess McGann's excited about it.
Let's step outside.
Whoa, Bioship found a friend.
Not a friend.
It is a baby! I was wondering if Bioship became a mom or not.
But her species doesn't really procreate the way we do. It's more like cell division.
But why do they procreate and then became
Bioship's memories,
ships?
But she's a whole new girl.
Like, I know the Transformers become cars and then, you know, they'll let people ride around in them. But they're not just like, ah, yes, I've been born, time to give someone a ride. Like, their biggest dream isn't to be a taxi. And I get that Bioship forms a connection, I guess. But if it's like, what's that word? For relationships that help each other. If it's one of those, what exactly do the Martians and or other biological connections do for the ship?
Perhaps you should begin your investigation near this fountain, where my father's body was found.
The crime scene memories you shared with us are very helpful. But you need to know finding new evidence after this much time is a real long shot.
My father believed peace between Mars' troubled races to be a long shot. Still, he tried. Solving his murder may be the first step in achieving that peace.
They've got a lot of emotion into JM's eyes. Like, just those little movements makes him a lot easier to relate.
What color Martians?
Why would they taste different?
All you Martians basically taste the same, and yet you're all different. Fancy that.
Racism is based on bullshit? Shocking.
Something else, something familiar. I just can't place it.
Also, has Connor had microscope vision this whole time and I just wasn't aware of it?
I was thinking, perhaps I could join you in building the sacred altar for your wedding
Heh,
ceremony.
you have a new best man.
A truly historic event for our people.
I understand the ritual is very taxing, and, well, we have enough.
You know, I was nearly married once. It didn't work out.
He's just like, I'm gonna make you really uncomfortable until you say yes. Jem might be my new favorite character.
I understand.
I seriously can't remember that word for relationships that benefit each other.
Baby will take us back to Earth so that Bioship can live out her final years here on Mars.
How did you bond with her?
I was a bit of a sneak, actually.
Is this like the Doctor stealing the TARDIS?
But I secretly bonded with her before he could, so that when she flew onto Earth, she'd
Let me stow
let me
away.
stow away.
It's totally the Doctor stealing the TARDIS.
But I know life was very hard for you here.
Do any of her siblings know life was very hard for her here?
So too is the wedding canopy a reflection of we who share your life and love. Together, we will work to unite disparate pieces.
Okay. Did her sister also have a failed marriage? Because what is happening here? There was a bit of saltiness when the mom hugged McGann, so I don't know if she feels like maybe mom likes McGann more ever since she left, but...
Gar.
Can't lose another brother.
Gar!
Hey, easy, snapper.
Who were you talking about?
What?
Ba'ar's O'um, the former green beetle.
Oh! I didn't recognize his name. I was like, who's this person?
Which is necessary. Once freed from the scarab, you heroically helped the Earthlings banish the reach from both Earth and Mars.
Thank you.
Can we bring Jem back to Earth? Also because I like the name Jem because it makes me think of Jem in the Holograms. Which would be... The Martians would actually make a fantastic Jem in the Holograms cosplay group.
And as a symbol of your bond with our entire family.
And the entire Martian race.
No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure there. He's got to recharge his solar cells.
That can wait, Gar. There's no hurry.
No hurry? What if someone takes a shot at us again?
See, Gar?
She said, I'm 3 days old and I'm armed.
Syrah, if I may ask, you said you only joined the Order recently. Was that after your time with Prince Jem?
Oop.
You invaded my mind.
Nah, babe, you were super awkward. We could all tell. No mind reading required.
Our hearts were joined for a time.
So the marriage to the prince didn't work and she ran to the nunnery, essentially?
I was Karun and he was the prince.
Oh my god. Really? So, a whole species of creatures who are very, very vulnerable to fire have to build an altar out of molten rock.
Sacred obligation.
I would never want to be invited to your bachelor party.
Yeah, when Gar took that form in town, the crowd went nuts. Gar. You sure you're alright?
Leave me alone! I'm fine.
Okay.
Seriously, I know, like, obviously Connor has mentioned multiple times Gar's not acting normal, but like... And if it's like, okay, no, he's not being manipulated, he just has PTSD, okay. But it's been, what, a year? Is his behavior only coming out now? Like, that's the part I don't get. If this was a, like, it appears to be a recent personality change.
Ja'an's entire family disowned her for marrying an Shen. Except for Ja'an, his time on Earth changed him for the better.
Ja'an used to be racist too, actually, little known fact.
On learned racial tolerance. On Earth, of all places. It's not exactly something human can move.
It's rather ironic.
He learned tolerance. That is insufficient. He learned acceptance, empathy.
Meanwhile, the girls are in the crystal cave just like meditating and doing some light telekinesis work.
I'm in hell. Super boy! Look out!
Oh!
I got up to the sun to recharge, so Brion can't hurt you!
No, Connor cannot survive the surface of Mars!
Okay.
Don't pretend you care about Martian religious orthodoxy. If you did, Miss Martian wouldn't be marrying Mr. Earthling.
First off, Connor identifies as half Kryptonian.
Oh,
Second,
okay.
don't you mean Miss Shen wouldn't be marrying an Earthling?
I am not a racist, McGann.
We are not. You've always been ashamed of me, of Macomb, of Dad.
I'm ashamed. Look at you. Ashamed to even be seen as a Martian.
I mean, I guess fair point, but literally everyone around them is Martian.
Not me.
So you didn't...
Not who I am inside. And I'm done pretending I'm something I'm not, just to make you more comfortable.
But also, actively hating yourself in your actual true Martian form is not healthy either.
You were our big sister. You should have protected us.
But when Macomb said that to you, suddenly it was, I was just a child too. Mm-hmm. See how familiar that sounds? It's about the lack of accepting responsibility here.
When you were a child, you would sometimes shift your skin to Garun, trying to pass. But just now, when you took your old form, the form you were born to, it felt just as psychically false.
Really?
Is your true form again?
That feels weird, right? Like that the show is just like, yes, this is racism is bad, but then like, it actually, if her preferred form is human, that's okay too.
Strong family bond. You are truly blessed.
Like, on a super deep and psychological level, she hates the way she was born, and it's like, no, this is fine. we don't need to address that at all.
Failing me!
I do feel better because first I was gonna be like, oh, am I an asshole? And like, he just has PTSD and I'm like being rude about it. But I'm like, yeah, no, this is not PTSD.
Where's the sun? I can't feel him too! I'll find the sun and come back for you!
No! Guard, don't run off!
Oop. Is it bad I don't get what he feels so guilty about? He's just like, I won't feel you too. Like, is your fear of failing Brion? Or, like, is there something that I'm not aware of yet? Because as far as, like, he's aware, Brion, like, just took a sudden right turn into, like, I'm a dictator now.
I'll be back with Garfield, Prince Jem. It's too dangerous. Let me search.
Seal the hatch!
Prince Jem made like his first friend, okay?
Connor, just like I found you, Brion.
Brion isn't here, Garfield.
Where'd they find McGann?
You scared them.
Oh.
They lashed out at you with multiple brain blasts, leaving you psychically bruised.
Okay. So it is kind of PTSD, just like super magical PTSD.
Brion was the first loss of your new family, so you feel responsible, but no leader can control everything. And Brion made his own choices.
As far as you're aware, currently.
I'm repairing the psychic damage, but this is just a start. The mental and emotional trauma is still there and requires treatment, which you must seek out.
But like, where did McGann come from? Or is he like just like in the back of his mind, his like safe place is McGann, so she's not necessarily healing him, he's like healing himself, he's just imagining that it's McGann doing it, because like that's his sister.
Guard!
Connor!
Or did Jem do that and just pretended to be McGann?
Again, she reached out from wherever she is, and she fixed me.
Gar? I didn't do anything.
Alright, so there's two other options here.
I recognize the mind touch. It's the same signature
Okay,
as Instant
so-
Yesterday's cave-in.
So, whoever tried to kill us saved me?
They didn't try to kill you. I'm a little disappointed that it was neither of my options.
I thought we weren't supposed to intervene on anything, except, you know, the one big thing.
I don't know, and I don't like
Don't
this
mention this
vagueness.
incident one way or another.
Oh, okay.
Maybe we always intervened?
Alright, so time travel rules here. Also, whoever this is, her voice sounds very familiar.
I'm gonna miss you, girl. Guess I'll just have to learn how to accept it. Not sure how Forager's gonna
Oh my
take it,
god! Forager's gonna be distraught, and or he already knew, because he really sits there and talks to Bioship, sees how she's feeling, see what she's up to.
Hey, Lois. I trust Tim and McGann and Gar to handle whatever comes their way. Plus, the Javelin will be here soon to take us to Mars to help. John and I might even get there in time for the...
Oh, wait, no. Okay. Oopsies. Okay, well, HBO Max auto played me out before Superman was done talking. But he was like, maybe we'll make it in time for the wedding. And if that last, like, 3 seconds that I missed is something that's going to utterly change the arc of the season, was, like, absolutely indispensable, well, you live and you learn. Okay, so we had, like, a little, like, 3-episode arc with Beast Boy. He got mind whammied by a bunch of Martians at once. He had like just wild PTSD symptoms leading to like basically psychological break, hallucinations, all of that, endangering Connor's life. And then he got fixed by the people who are from the future, and I think one of you did tell me that in the comments, but as far as like in the actual show, they've kind of now told the audience, yes, they're from the future based off their like, well, history never said we didn't intervene, but also it seems like they're running on the Watcher rules, watch but don't intervene, until they felt bad enough to help. But they said that they can intervene for one big thing, so it's not the Watcher rules. There's something they're here to stop. Is it going to be like with Impulse, where it's just like, we're just here to make sure no one turns evil? Or is there like, I don't know, I can't think of, besides we're just here to make sure no one turns evil, what are you like waiting around for that? Or maybe the thing they're here to stop is, you know, the mass genocide of everyone on Mars. Well, not everyone on Mars, all the green people on Mars. That would be a sensible thing for them to try to stop. But then who is trying to stop them, stop the genocide? Is it Macomb? How would he know that they're there? Or it's someone who knows of Macomb's plans but hasn't told Macomb that they're trying to stop it, if they are indeed trying to stop it. I'm kind of talking in a circle here. The point is, I'm still not really sure who this third person is, and now we have more information about Party 2. Party 3 is still a mystery. We found out that Emery's been married twice, which is impressive for however old she is. I don't know how old that is. She could be 22 in Martian years. I mean, she's like a head scientist. I feel like that's fairly mature. In Earth years, I feel like she's like in her 30s at least, if for the position that she holds. But it could be like a child genius situation. I have no indication of age or stature. I do kind of, from a world building sense, I actually really enjoyed the marriage ceremony because I like seeing how the way these new cultures do all these marriage rites and how do they perform a symbolic tying together of two people. So I like that. Obviously I don't like the people, so like that's kind of a downer. But it was also interesting to find out that like, oh, this is a very, very traditional Martian wedding, and like most people do not do this anymore, which makes sense because one of the steps is going into a lava cave and building an altar or whatever, and that's, I'd rather go to a strip club or something. I don't want to do that. I'm sure Martians also don't want to do that. They're like, you know what? Our love is actually not strong enough to get me into the mouth of a volcano, so sorry about it. I could not blame them for that, for like letting that one go. The same reason we let Prima Nocta go. You know what? Actually, in hindsight, not a great idea. Didn't think I'd get a Prima Nocta joke into any of these videos, but you know what? I persevered. Nevertheless, I persisted until there was a space, an avenue for a Prima Nocta joke. But I think Garin Perdita break up, and I'm pretty sure it's because obviously I make Young Justice videos, so YouTube recommends me Young Justice videos, and then sometimes it's just like, look, it's a spoiler, and I try not to look at them, but my brain has seen it already. But thankfully I think this is a pretty minor one, but I'm like pretty sure I saw a clip of Gar and Perdita breaking up. And based off her phone call from that other episode, it seems like they've been in a really fraught relationship for quite a while, so that's not that surprising. Also, they're like 16 or 17, just, you know, young love doesn't always work. Unless, of course, you're every other member of the Justice League, in which case you marry your high school sweetheart and no one else. The first one is the right one, kids. That's what the Lord said. McGann's true self is a vaguely humanoid, but with white Martian skin and eyes. And we're cool with that. And I feel like obviously this whole episode was very unsubtle, especially in that argument between McGann and her sister, of like, well, actually he identifies as half Martian and my true self is like, I feel like there was a kind of obvious, and the whole arc has been about, you know, racial tension or whatever. Like there's like the trans comparison to this, and I'm not an expert on this at all, so I don't want to be like, in my opinion, this is a terrible metaphor for the trans experience, because I'm not an authority on that at all. But if that's what it was meant to be, I guess like your true self is not the self you were born with, but it also feels like her true self, the reason she's not comfortable in it is because she existed in a system of oppression that made her hate her true self, to the point where, as her mother has just pointed out, as a child she would try to pass as green so that, you know, she wouldn't be a victim of racial oppression. So if you hate your true self because of racism and not just because of like, man, I never felt right in my body because of internal factors, I feel like that does not work as well as a trans metaphor. But again, I'm not an expert, so I do not want, like, if there's someone watching this who disagrees and they are trans or they have a lot more experience then my bad. This is just like, okay, like, as for oversharing, like I've had a similar experience in like preschool or kindergarten where I came home from school and like covered myself in baby powder so I could be white. But that wasn't because my true self was a white person. It's because I was like, wow, being white seems better based off, you know, the world that I perceived as an infant. So being able to like, oh, I successfully made myself not as Martian as I was, or not as specifically white Martian as I was. I've won, I did it. Like, that doesn't seem to me like a success story. That seems like a victim. Like, oppression won. It's like, oh, but she's still being white, so like yeah, but she's not trying to be a white Martian. She's like a white, vaguely humanoid thing. Like it doesn't feel, I don't know. Anyway, so we're gonna go from prima nocta jokes to internalized racism and and it parallels the trans experience. So don't tell you I don't give you deep thoughts on this channel. I don't know. Again, I'm not an expert. This is just my view, having watched the episode once and having thought about it for a total of 4 minutes. So maybe my opinion will change on a rewatch, or when I have some time to think about it. It's equally likely I'm gonna come back in the comments and be like, everything I said was wrong. I've changed my mind. It's been 24 hours or 36 hours or whatever. Maybe I'll come back in a year and completely see this a different way. Maybe I'll get to the end of the season and completely reinterpret it. But this is, my initial reaction was, that seems flawed. I think this was an episode that bit off a lot. Like, they're resolving the Gar plotline, they're fleshing out the family divide between McGann. We're also, exploring a little bit more about this party that's following them around. There was a lot in this 22-minute episode, so like, I feel like I was kind of just skipping from scene to scene and not particularly like getting absorbed. Symbiotic! Oh my god. Symbiotic relationship, that's the word I could not remember. God bless. Anyway, on that note, the video's over. We've done it, kids. I'm done. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. No, that wasn't a joke. I'm actually gonna end the video here. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, comment, etc. All those good things that make me very, very happy. If you don't want to do any of that, but you've watched all the way to the end of this video, thank you. I still really, really appreciate you. You can follow me on the Bird app at Leah Sees Movies, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.